Hey guys.
All right, so this is a test for audio and video. Pierogies, can you hear
Hey
me?
guys, can you hear me?
We can hear you fine.
Perfectly.
Yeah?
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I got you on headphones. Can you hear me when I'm talking like this? Is this okay?
Sounds the exact same.
It sounds like, okay, well, I was leaning forward in one towards the microphone, and now I'm just sitting back normally. So if you can hear me clearly like this, that's perfect. Gives me a little more room to move around.
We hear you loud and clear.
Great.
Good for us, yeah.
I'm going to unmute. Well, Rovak, are you online? Should we unmute you? Are you ready for that?
Well, he's muted, so he can't hear it, right?
Oh, there he is. Oh, he can hear us. Okay, there you go. Rovak, how are you?
Hey, test 1, 2, 3. This is a test. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Volume's a little loud, I think.
Okay.
You can turn him down here, though.
Yeah, make sure we're all on the same level, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think you're gonna have to tell. You're gonna have to tell us.
Okay, well, he was much louder than the rest of you.
Well, we're not going to be as loud because we have an external mic. You both are working with a head mic.
Sure.
So, too.
We're not going to sound as loud as most of you, or both.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't want to bring down his levels because you sound about the same as he does on our end.
Do I? Okay.
We turn us up.
Yeah.
We can turn our volume up a little bit more. You let us know if we're matching Rovak's intensity.
That's pretty good.
That's good?
Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
Okay.
We'll go with that.
All right, we'll test our video level. 1 second. There we go. All right. So it looks like we have audio and video working. See, I'm going to jump onto the main chat here. All right.
Cool.
A few people watching already. All right, everyone, we are going to turn off our video and audio and come back at exactly.
Well, are we going to test the YouTube part of this though, right now? Because I need to see the live stream, make sure.
Sure, it's streaming now. You're welcome to go.
Yeah.
Oh, can you send me the link? Can you send me the link?
Sure. I'm gonna go ahead and copy that and post it here in the chat. Go ahead and open that.
Oh, fuck.
So we will be on a bit of a delay. It's just the way that YouTube works.
Sure. I'm gonna mute the YouTube, and I'll just go by what's on my phone.
Yes, please.
Yeah, for sure.
As the AMA open, please go ahead and turn off the volume on the YouTube AMA side of things.
Aw, Tion just got the coolest looking Tron business cards.
I don't know.
Oh, he just sent me a screenshot of his new Tron business cards. They look really cool.
Oh, Tion?
Tion, yeah. They're all black with the red logo, and then they look pretty sweet.
Black is slick.
I wonder if they'll make me some.
Yeah.
They should.
They should, yeah.
All right. Pierogies, how are we feeling? Are we good to go?
Yeah, I don't know how to find this YouTube thing. Is it on the Sesameseed YouTube channel?
Well, you can find the link everywhere.
Yeah,
but
okay.
I also put the link
I'm not looking for it right now.
on the group chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll drop it in.
If you open the group chat here, you can see the link.
Oh yeah, here we are. There we go. Okay. I guess I have to sign in, don't I? Hang on.
So you need to sign in for YouTube.
Oh, there we go. There's my wonderful logo.
No. So, Pierogies, is there any story behind your nickname?
Yeah, and it's incredibly uninteresting. It's just I happened to be eating pierogies when I made my Reddit account. That is the entire story.
Okay. Right.
That sounds like an AMA question. Let's hang on.
We can do that if you want, sure.
Let's do a progress AMA before the stream.
Yeah, there we go.
Exactly. This is the pre.
I like that.
Exactly.
Oh, Theon does have nice business cards. Right.
It's good though. I mean, light questions like that are good to start with. You know, loosen everybody up, and before we get into the more serious ones. So Rovak, I added some of those questions you sent, like just the ones what brought you into blockchain dev.
Hey, Pierogies?
All of that. Yeah, what's up?
I want to go ahead and get us off, all of us offline.
Sure. Do you want me to just mute my thing and then I'll just leave it on until until you ask? Yeah. Okay.
Right, so if everybody can please turn off their cameras and microphones.
Sure.
Yeah. Done.
Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Julian and myself, Humpty, with Sesameseed. Good to have everyone here. Shortly, we'll have Pierogies joining us and Rovak as well. This is our AMA that we've scheduled to have a conversation about ourselves, SEEDGerminator, but more importantly, to introduce Rovak to the community. Rovak, many of you are already very familiar with who he is and his work. And so he probably doesn't need a lot of introduction, but this will be a great opportunity to get to know him a little bit better. We also have, and there he is on camera. We also have a few questions prepared about ourselves as well, and about Rovak and his work with TronScan and his work with Tipprbot, and then a little bit about the evolution on all of us and how we will continue to work with Tron and develop on the Tron network. And Pierogies will be guiding us with many of those questions. Pierogies, who many of you also know from the Tron community. He is the subreddit moderator from the Tronics subreddit, I should be clear. And so he's been helping with directing a lot of the conversations there. That's how we got to know him as well, through those conversations. So let's go ahead and introduce everyone here. Julian, next to me. If you wanted to go ahead and start a little bit and talk about Sesameseed and SEEDGerminator, and then we can go ahead and introduce Rovak, and then Pierogies after that, and then Pierogies will kick it off with questions that dive a little bit deeper that they can answer about what they're doing and how they're continuing to develop. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
Hi, everybody. I'm Julian. I'm one of the founders of Sesameseed. We're a SR on the Tron network, and we're a community SR providing our rewards back. One of the key features is we are withholding about 10% of the rewards specifically for SEEDGerminator development funds. This is used to fund applications, projects, developers on the Tron network to basically give them the funding that they need to launch their product and encourage them on the Tron network. So that's yeah.
All right, excellent. Thank you. All right, and then next we'll introduce Rovak then, if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Rovak. Yeah, most of you guys most likely know me already. I've been moderating the main chat. I've been working on Tron for, I think, 7 months, back when the project first launched on GitHub. Since then, I've worked on a lot of tools, apps for Tron. I've worked on some wallets for Tron. I've joined the programming contest, and yeah. So today I want to talk about a bit what I'm going to do for Sesameseed, what Tipprbot is going to do. And I also want to talk a bit about the depth development and why I believe Tron is a really good choice to build your next decentralized application on. And how we as a community can make sure that more developers will join us on making sure that we have more adoption on the Tron protocol. So for my introduction, I'm gonna answer more questions during the next EMA. Yeah.
All right, and then we have Pierogies. Pierogies, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
We can.
Well, I think you all pretty much know me from Reddit Tronics and about 1 million different Telegram groups. So it's nice to talk to you guys, though, in a slightly different setting.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
yeah?
No, we can hear you
yeah?
fine.
Okay.
No, yeah, you're loud and clear.
So do you want to just jump right in?
Yeah, go ahead. So if you wanted to go ahead and start asking some questions to Julian and to Rovak.
Yeah, so I think we're going to cover a few different topics. Obviously, we'll talk about the Tipprbot and SEEDGerminator more in depth, and just some general stuff about Sesameseed and Tron. I've got some questions submitted by users on Reddit and Twitter, and we'll sprinkle in some live ones as well. So first things first, I was curious, where are you from, Rovak?
Oh, okay. I'm from the Netherlands. I live in a small town near Eindhoven. Eindhoven is pretty well known within the Netherlands for their companies.
Oh yeah.
There is a lot of crypto meetups in Eindhoven. That's also the reason why I got into crypto. Somewhere around what was it, March 2017. I talked a lot about it with other people. I haven't bought any Bitcoin back then, but it was very interesting. I was like, okay, why would I buy any Bitcoin if there wasn't much that you can do with it? And later on, when I learned about Tron from one of the community members or the meetup members, I started looking into Tron. And I thought like, okay, Tron is trying to decentralize the web, just not trying to be another coin. And so that's what got me into it.
And how much of crypto, or how much time does crypto take up now?
Back in December, back in December, it was only a few hours. So when I got interested in crypto, I was like, okay, let's look at the project, push a few pull requests. Let's see where this project goes. And
it takes over your life.
Yeah, and right now I had to drop so many projects. It's like a 24/7 job right now. When I wake up, I open my phone and I have like 30 missed notifications from people with questions, and GitHub pull requests that need to be reviewed, and people who come with ideas while like, okay, I got this project I want to work on. I see you submitted this Tipprbot project. How does it work? And
And Julian and Humpty, I know you guys are pretty much full time with this stuff now too, aren't you?
Oh yeah. We've been in it for pretty much. We're based here in Los Angeles. I've personally been in the crypto space for quite a while. I was a pretty early adopter with Bitcoin, and really found Tron at the end of last year. Really cool project. Was very interested in it when this SR process really opened up. Delegated proof of stake was something I was personally really passionate about and dove in.
Right on, man. So this one's for Rovak. Just a general question about Tron Scan. What do you have in mind going forward? You know, are there any imminent updates, or what are your plans for the Tron Scan Explorer going forward?
Well, there are lots of questions, and I'm getting a lot of input from the users and the community. The first things I'm working on and have been working on is together with Fernando from Crypto Chain to get the hardware wallets working. As soon as we have the hardware wallets on Tron, then the big hodlers come in and they can vote. So that was my main concern, that the mainnet would be used by the bigger users.
For sure.
After that, there is an API for TronScan, and it's being used a lot by quite a few wallets, some decentralized applications, even some exchanges are using it. So the more that TronScan is being used, the more we have to think about performance concerns. And right now, it's okay, but I was thinking to change the backend to something like Elasticsearch, and so you
can expand the infrastructure a lot.
Yeah. As soon as it takes off, then TronScan has to be ready, and it doesn't. If it slows down, then that's bad for Tron. So
fair enough, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides that, we also have to think about the Tron virtual machines, which is coming up, and there are going to be smart contracts, and those smart contracts have to be viewed on TronScan, so you know what's going on within those contracts. Yeah. Besides that, lots of other ideas. I want to make a mobile application for TronScan. Maybe some more community stuff, like there are quite a few coins right now which are a bit shady to call it like that, and it would be great if people can comment on the coin and say, okay, this is not the real coin. For example,
like a sort of ranking system for the tokens.
Yeah, something like that.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to a quick question about the SEEDGerminator itself. Maybe Julian, you can take this one, and just give me a brief overview of the vision behind this project, SEEDGerminator, because it seems to really set Sesameseed apart from other SR candidates that I've seen. Is this concept?
Yeah, I mean, so really the whole concept was to basically give the ability to choose what developments take place on the Tron platform and give that authority over to the community. Because at the end of the day, there's tons of funds out there. There's lots of ways to invest in developers and applications and projects, but they're often done, behind closed doors. There's a very small group of people. The real concept for the SEEDGerminator program was to take those funds, set them aside, and basically say, hey, look, here, look, let's present it to the community, have the community actually vote on it. And by doing so, we're getting a real representation of the people that utilize the network. And they can come back to us and say, hey, this is what we want, and we're going to use it. And they vote on it, and we just follow what the community is asking for.
That is something that I have noticed just from looking at the Sesameseed group on Telegram, is how inspired and into this people are. Your community is 100% on board with what you're doing, and that must be really satisfying.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's been, the community is kind of like, at the very least for me, it gives me all of my energy in this. It's really what motivates me and the rest of the team. It's just so energizing to have that kind of response, and the community hears us talking about these things like SEEDGerminator and these developer funds and ways to invest in these tokens, and they're saying, yes, let's go, let's do that, let's get there.
For sure. For sure.
All we need to basically do is just do that. We're just doing what the community is asking, and it keeps going.
If I may add something to that about community, is I am engaged with the community a lot through social media, and I'm listening to what the community not just is talking about in general about the super representative process, but what it means for us as super representatives to engage with them. And it's really easy to say that we want to be a part of the community, that we want to engage them and bring them into the process. But there's something very different or challenging in executing that. And what we love is that the community, they've seen through our actions that we, in everything that we do, is about the community, right? So from the very beginning, from the offset with the reward system, we knew that they needed to be a big part of that with the 80% rewards that we started giving them from the very beginning. Then when we started with SEEDGerminator, we started looking at other ways for them to create investments and earn rewards from those projects that they're voting on. And so we, again, bring them on as the featured community to earn something. So the 80% now that is being rewarded to them, right? And just to quote one of our members here on Twitter, they said, we love Sesameseed because their roadmap is focused on the development of the Tron community. That's exactly it. It really is about keeping them at the center of everything that we do.
Cool.
Right on. Okay, so now that we've covered the general outline of the SEEDGerminator itself, let's talk about this first project that you guys have decided to fund. This is something I'm actually really looking forward to myself. I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm going to try to encourage quality comments and stuff on Reddit by tipping users who help each other out and things like that. So I'm personally really excited for this. I was really excited when I heard that this was going to be the first one. So let's get into it. This one's from user Grandpa Willie. It's one of our Reddit users. He wants to know, what will the tipping process look like for a new user?
For the user, well, that kind of depends on which platform he is gonna use the Tipprbot. On Telegram, we already have a working prototype. And for Telegram, you just, if the channel includes the tipping bot, then the user can reply on someone's message and type in /tip 100. And the bot picks that up and he sends 100 TRX to the Telegram user. So yeah, for the user, it is pretty simple. If, for example, you want to use it on Twitter, then you just go to Twitter, you see a tweet you like, and you put in a reply and you say, okay, 10 TRX, and then you mention the bot, and the bot they text your reply, and he will send so much TRX to the Twitter account.
And I assume that you guys will be putting out comprehensive guides so that everybody has the list of commands for each platform.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
In example, for Telegram, it's a Telegram bot which you can send a direct message. So when you start talking with the bot, he guides you through the process. He says like, okay, this is the steps you have to take to send someone a tip. This is your account. This is your private key. If you want to send TRX, then make sure you first send some TRX to this wallet, and from that wallet, the TRX will be sent.
Okay.
With Twitter, you just go to the Twitter account, and there will be a link with the guides.
So what happens if the tip is not accepted? You know, they send the tip to somebody, they don't do anything. What happens to that tip?
Well, it will just sit in the wallet until he decides that the user will claim it. But what we can do is build in some sort of mechanism that looks as a wallet, and if there hasn't been any activity for over X amount of months, then we can say, okay, transfer this TRX back. The question is if we should do that. I think that is something the community has to decide, if some sort of mechanism should exist.
Whether it goes back to the sender or back into a general pot.
Yeah. For example, there are tipping bots who are running small games. So for example, there is a tipping bot who is running a World Cup game right now, and if you guess the right outcome, then you get the prize jar, or however you want to call it. So
that's very cool.
For example, if we see that after X amount of months a wallet isn't used, then it will end up in one of those jars that will be used for a game, and then it will be paid out to the users. So something like that. But
so
yeah,
it sounds like everything that you're doing is heavily focused on the users, basically. Yeah. That's great. What is the minimum and the maximum amount of TRX that someone can send in a 24-hour period? What are the limits on the bot, basically, in terms of how much money you can actually send with this thing?
I think the limit that you can send will be based on the limit that your wallet can hold, because we don't want users to have a lot of TRX on the wallets. It should just be a small wallet from which you can send small amounts of TRX when you tip someone or when you like an article or stuff like that. So yeah, the amount of TRX that you will receive, yeah, that can be as much as you want. you can configure the Tipprbot to send all the TRX to your main wallet, but take TRX from Tipprbot wallet, which can only hold like 1,000 TRX or something like that.
Okay. So can you give me the list of which platforms you're planning on launching it on?
Yeah, the first platform that is ready, that is Telegram. We're still finishing up some details. You can use it, but it isn't fully. It isn't in a state where we want it to be right now. Next up will be, correct me if I'm wrong, Reddit, Twitter, Kakao, WeChat, and did I miss anything?
Okay.
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got a question here from user Blue Horseshoe 66. He wants to know, will you be able to tip seed? Julian, Rovak, whoever wants to answer that one. Will you be able to tip the seed token, Sesameseed's token, on this bot?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
You will be able to tip seeds, and will also be able to tip other tokens. So yeah.
Okay. So seed, TRX, and then possibly other tokens on the Tron network in the future. Seems like the options are pretty wide open for this thing.
Yep.
Another question from Blue Horseshoe 66. If I successfully voted via Sesameseed email, how will my seed on the mainnet be tied to my SS email address for rewards? Who wants to take that? Julian, maybe?
Sure. So what we're really talking about is how the system that we're going to utilize for our registration in the future. At the end of the day, we're looking to make this as democratic a process as possible by saying one user, one vote. So there will be a upcoming registration in the future that we do go through. It's going to be done. It's going to be used for future voting, and it's going to be used for this mechanism as well. And doing so is kind of what's going to tie everyone back to it.
Okay. Okay, so this is another question from Blue Horseshoe 66. This voting for the Tipprbot was done through a Sesameseed email, and you had to have signed up before Monday, July 15th. Yep. So this took a few people off guard. They had not signed up for the email yet. How will future seed voting occur, and when is this expected to be in place? So I guess he's asking about
the registration.
The procedures going forward. Like, I guess you guys are still working all that out. This being the first one.
So it was sudden, and it was sudden by design, to be perfectly honest. You know, at the end of the day, something like an email is very easy for users to create many accounts and vote with. And that can kind of skew things for our general population. And as I said before, we're trying to build a truly democratic system, and the only way to do that is one person, one vote. And that's by building a system that represents that. You know, Tron is tied to the quantity of TRX, and we're trying to do it on an individual basis to really be fair about this. So when the community votes on a project, when the community contributes to a project, it really is a representation of that community.
Absolutely.
So I think what he's touching on makes perfect sense. It's a big problem. A lot of people are trying to solve this, not just Sesameseed. A lot of other companies are as well, even Tron is. And what it's going to come down to is finding a way to essentially register users without being intrusive, without pulling KYC style information, you know, while connecting them to a public address in a way where people can't create hundreds of robot accounts to manipulate our system.
Yeah.
So it's a real focus. It's a major focus, and we have a plan. We have something we're preparing to announce in August.
Great.
And we look really forward to sharing that.
Awesome. Okay, here's another one. I am not a developer, but I have a good idea for a project. Will I be eligible for a reward? Will there be a formal means to submit ideas that are time and date stamped in case duplicate ideas are submitted?
Cool. Yeah, definitely. So we have a pretty nice roadmap laid out, which you're going to be seeing published fairly soon. What that does show is essentially a seed advisory board, which exists today. This is our frontline check. What they're basically doing is they're taking in applications, reviewing those applications, they're asking questions about them, they're really vetting things through. And Rovak knows about this. He was the first person to go through the entirety of that process and end up on, on the community's desk. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a very formal process. You can start by emailing us at germinate@sesameseed.org. And, in the very, very near future, there's going to be a very clearly laid out roadmap as well as application videos, I'm sure will follow.
Great. Okay, let's get into questions from user Cribnuts. He asks, from the Medium article, in addition, this application will capture a 0.05 TRX transaction fee on all non-seed token transactions. Can you elaborate a little more on this? So users can only tip in seed tokens, and all tips in other tokens, including TRX, will include a 0.05 TRX transaction fee.
Yes, so that's what we're doing. We're going to be charging a very, very nominal transaction fee of 0.05 Tron per fee, unless the transaction is conducted with seed tokens, in which case it's completely free. That's a free transaction, whatever amount you want to do is free. If you do that transaction with TRX, with another token, the fee will apply, and that fee is going to be reserved for to go back into the process that we've outlined, which is essentially 10% is going for operating expenses, 10% is going back to the developer of the project, and 80% is going to be going to the community. It's going to be distributed to the community, in a fair, even way, and it's going to utilize the registration process I mentioned before.
So you could say that you guys are giving out basically 160% rewards, 80% of the block rewards, and 80% of these Tipprbot fees.
I mean, so this is certainly going to add to the total rewards that are going out. We are going to be distributing 80% of the block rewards as we always have, and we're going to be distributing 80% of the rewards from this Tipprbot. In terms of what that's going to come out to the end user is going to be variable. It's going to be dependent upon, the month, the time span that we're in, the variation of the rewards themselves. But yeah, it certainly is going to add significantly to the block rewards.
Great. Okay, this one's for Rovak. So it says, from the Medium article, using the Tipprbot, you can easily tip other members while in a public chat, even if they don't have a Tron wallet. How can people who receive tips see their total tips and cash out if they don't have a wallet?
Well, the way the wallet system works in the Tipprbot is that as soon as you start talking to the bot, you make contact with the bot, and the bot receives a message in its API, and it sees like, okay, I'm receiving a message from a user that I haven't seen before, so I'm going to create an empty wallet for him. The user that is going to tip will send TRX to that wallet, and he starts tipping other users. And as soon as he tips another user, the same process happens. The bot sees like, okay, you just tipped a user that doesn't have a wallet yet, so I create a new wallet for him, and the TRX will be placed in that new wallet. And as soon as that user received the wallet, that user can message the bot and ask, okay, what is my address and what is my private key? And with that private key, they can log into TronScan and have full control over their own wallet. Obviously, the bot requires the private key to make any transactions. And that's also the reason that we want to keep this wallet small. So yeah, even on Twitter, if you receive a tip, then you can just see, hey, this Twitter, this Tipprbot got mentioned. So I click on him, and then you see the URL, and the user goes to that URL and he logs in with his Twitter account, and Tipprbot then knows, okay, this Twitter account belongs to this wallet, and then he can cash out.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So it's never going to be for large amounts of money. Users will cash out their Tipprbot wallets to another wallet periodically as they collect tips. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but they can also configure a different receive address. So they can say like, okay, I want to send my TRX from that small Tipprbot wallet, which only contains a few TRX. But if I receive anything, then I want that directly in my main wallet. So your receive and your send wallet will be different.
And users can deposit tokens that they wish to tip other users directly into the bot.
Exactly.
Okay. Can only seed tokens receive the distribution rewards from the transaction fees collected? Is there a minimum number of seed tokens? Can you just tell me the prerequisites to be eligible for these fee rewards that you guys have decided on?
Sure. So the prerequisites are going to be pretty simple. We're going to require 1,000 Tron to be held in the wallet, 10 seed tokens. We're also going to require that 75% of votes cast are for Sesameseed. And we're going to require that the users are registered using this previously mentioned Sesameseed registration.
Okay, that seems clear. And you'll release all of the documentation relating to that. So this is a question from user DMG90. And I think this is probably a good one to finish this AMA portion on. He says, you're both very early adopters of Tron. Out of 1,600 projects and numerous protocols, you went for Tron. Could you tell us what it is that got you into this project, and how do you see the future of yourself in relation to Tron? Do you plan on, I guess he's asking, what is the future of the project in your mind, and how do you see yourselves as being a part of that, helping this network grow?
I can start if you want, Rovak.
Oh yeah, sure.
So yeah, the thing that really got me into it was delegated proof of stake. That's pretty cool. It's radically different than proof of stake. It's radically different than proof of work. It really does give a community the ability to act in a way, in an organized way, to have a true impact on a network. And that's what's most interesting to me, because in reality, that's probably the real power of blockchain, of a decentralized currency, is that if you can get enough people on board doing the same thing, pushing in the same direction, saying we want this technology, we want things done in this way, all you really need to do is listen to them, and they're gonna utilize that system. It's self-fulfilling. It's really cool, and it has real potential. That has real potential to change things. This isn't how Fortune 500 companies work. This isn't how boards of directors work. This is community. It's just fair. And if you can tap into that fairness, I mean, this can really go anywhere. This can go anywhere, and it's exciting. And I really just want to be a part of it.
And what about you, Rovak?
Yeah, I kind of started working on Tron from a technical point of view. I've been a web developer myself, or more of a full stack developer. I've developed a lot of web applications. And when I started reading about Tron and that they were talking about, okay, we're going to decentralize the web, I was like, okay, there's all this infrastructure by big companies. How are you going to build something that is going to support all those applications that are being used right now and make it profitable for token holders to host your own node and host all those websites, content, maybe even a Twitter clone. So yeah, that's why I started looking at the project, at the GitHub project. In the early version of the GitHub project, there wasn't even a delegated proof of stake system. So yeah, that came much later. So for me, it was just a learning experience and just figuring out, okay, how are we going to do this? And much later, when they added the DPoS and the reward system, I was like, okay, with this, other coins are just mostly how do I call it? Tron promotes the system by giving rewards to their super representatives, and they allow the super representative to spend it however they like. And those super representatives are working on building a community, on getting groups together. I've met a lot of new people while I was working on Tron. I've met a lot of developers at the start, and not everyone keeps developing on the system. So, but yeah, it's just really cool to see that with the DPoS system and with the super representative system, that there's just so much going on, and they are so much groups who are promoting Tron by funding projects, or there are groups who are focusing on making a better infra structure. There are groups who are working on educating people. For example, one big question for a lot of people right now is, okay, why should I use crypto when I can just use money? And I think the same question should be asked, like, okay, why should we use decentralized apps when you can use normal apps? And decentralized apps have their advantages, and developers still have to figure them out. And by rewarding super representatives and creating that awareness, I believe that Tron has a really good way to create this community who works on yeah, getting this out there. So yeah.
Okay.
I actually have one more question. What do you guys think the biggest impact of this Tron virtual machine is going to be?
Well, the first version is, I don't know what the first version is going to be. It's going to be a secret, obviously. But it's going to be a Solidity-based contract, smart contract system. And that's a good thing. I mean, there are a lot of Solidity developers out there, and they are stuck on Ethereum right now, which yeah, can handle much less transactions as Tron can. So if we can get those developers over to Tron, then we already have a lot of adoption. All those weird apps, those crypto kitties and stuff like that, they can all be run on Tron. But their future plans will also be to create a virtual machine that allows more programming languages. And when you can start writing smart contracts in Python, in JavaScript, Java, stuff like that, they have a lot of programmers who just don't want to learn Solidity and stay away from smart contracts. And
Yeah.
if we can get those developers over to Tron, then that will also bring a lot of new applications.
For sure. Well, okay, I think that's it for the AMA then. I hope it was informative for everyone. And I'm just really, really excited to start using this bot. I think it's a terrific example of how this is actually supposed to work. You know, you have a community group working with a community developer on a project for the community. And I think that's pretty amazing. So hats off to you guys. Really good job on this one.
I think you knocked it out of the park for a first project.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Pierogies. We appreciate your time as well with
no problem.
Moderating questions and bringing in the voice from Reddit. We know that you definitely understand that better than most of us. So thank you for that. And
well, I'll see you all online, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
We will for sure. Thank you.
All right,
and so coming up is the announcement for the vote. We opened up to our community. It's been explained a little bit before how the voting took place. The voting process will change. Moving forward, we'll try to put together a system that can include people that are probably haven't added to the mailing list, but that doesn't mean don't add yourself to the mailing list. Please do. It's still very important. We provide a lot of weekly updates there. Nathan on our side, he's churning out those letters every week so that you're aware of everything that we're doing, what we've completed, and what we're staging for the next week. So challenges that are being met and challenges that we're kind of picking up. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Julian, and you can kind of announce what the results of the vote were and you know, what the next steps are.
Great. So we, as was mentioned, we put this project up for a vote. You know, it's at the end of the day, the 10% SEEDGerminator funds belong to the community. They belong equally to our community of voters. So it's really up to them what we do with it. You know, Rovak and I have been talking about this for a while. We put together the proposal, got it out there to the community, announced it for voting, and we said, "Hey guys, this is something we got for you to spend this money on. Let's hear what you got to say." And you voted, and you overwhelmingly voted yes to fund it. So there's over 97% of our community voted yes.
Can we pan over to Rovak? He is excited. Awesome job, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. So it was yeah, it's very clear that the community wants this. So funding of the project will obviously start immediately. We have, you know, we've been receiving the rewards, been depositing it into that account, so we're done.
Yeah. And, you know, if I can add just one thing to this, and I do want to hear Rovak's, you know, point of view as to this process and, you know, the acceptance, right, of the community vote. But I do want to add one thing that was very important to us. When we started looking at the projects that were coming in, we knew that it was really important for this to continue to be about the community, right? Just as much as the community's vote was important to this, the community developers were important to this. Yeah. And Rovak is second to none, in my opinion, when it comes to development on the Tron network. Yeah. So to have him be the first project that was presented, to have him be the first project that was, you know, voted yes on, I think that just highlights exactly what we're about. It really is about community. So Rovak, if you wouldn't mind giving us a few words, we'd love to hear what you think about, you know, the yes vote.
Yeah. So the project started out as a kind of just a small thing, and it was a really small idea, and I was just messing around with it, and it wasn't the plan to become any bigger than that. I've thrown it into the Sesameseed channel and just showed a bit what it could do, and I talked to Julian a bit. I've showed it to Julian, and he was pretty excited about what it could do and how easy it was to use. And for me, it wasn't the plan on first thought to make it any bigger. But after we started talking, I realized the possibilities of the SEEDGerminator, because I'm a programmer. I can build a lot of nice things. I can write code, but I'm not a marketer, or I can't make cool videos, or I don't have the community to make the project as big as it's going to be. So Julian suggested, okay, let's pull this project into SEEDGerminator and see what we can make of it. And on day one, I was thrown into a Telegram channel with like 6 people, and I started throwing out these ideas, and we came up with a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, it's something I wouldn't be able to do by myself. And I really want to thank the SEEDGerminator team for all the ideas that they bring and all the resources and the team that is behind it. And yeah, it's been a really smooth process so far. So we already got some stuff behind the scenes going on, and I'm pretty excited about the first version that we're going to launch. So yeah.
All right. Well, Thank you so much, Rovak, for your time. Thank you so much for participating in the SEEDGerminator program, and congratulations. And we can't wait to keep working together.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Julian. Any last words, or should we just sign off?
We skipped a question before we left. We were going to ask pierogies where the name came from. I've heard it's a very long story with a lot of details. I'm sure there will be a lengthy Reddit post I'll put up on it. I mean, I think he should. He's probably obligated to do so. So I think we're all, as a community, waiting to hear that story. And other than that, you know what, Rovak, awesome. I'm so pumped by this. This is great. This is exactly what we were trying to do. Funding, as Humpty said, developers in our community. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the community.
Yes.
We're excited to keep doing this kind of thing. We're excited to keep you guys involved and go forward, see where we can take it.
We hope to keep engaging you all, on all the platforms we have. So make sure first follow our Telegram. That's where we're engaging. All of our moderators are on there. Twitter, we're trying to publish a lot of informative details about ourselves and the projects that we're developing, including Tipprbot with Rovak. On Reddit, on Facebook and Instagram, we're coming up there too. So just stay connected with us. There's so many details, so much more that we're working on, and we can't wait to update everyone on how we are developing together the Tipprbot. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for joining us today.